Strategy number 2 for more consistently engaging ourselves. Future success starts on the inside and then works its way out. And there's probably there's no better story that I can think of for this. Anybody know who this is? It's a historical figure, also a famous business success story figure. It's Conrad Hilton, founder of, as you would imagine, the Hilton hotel chain. Now, very few people actually know the long-term story of Conrad Hilton and how he got to be so famous with hotels. What you probably didn't realize was that Conrad Hilton started out as a hotelier in Texas, and prior to the Great Depression had actually built, I think he had a chain of 45 hotels, all in Texas, and when the Great Depression hit, he went bankrupt. He lost all of them. In fact, he was in debt to the tune of about $500,000, which back in those days was a lot of money. And he's the one who was famous for saying, you know what, I may have been broke, but I was never poor. And obviously what he meant was poor in spirit, right? So prior to him regaining his fame, what he did was something that I thought to this day was really, it just kind of showed a lot about how he was wired. He went to New York City on a business trip, and he ended up staying at this hotel that was the most amazing hotel he had ever seen before. Does anybody remember what it became the crown, kind of the crown jewel of his empire? Does anybody remember what hotel it was in New York? It's the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. And he looked at the columns and he looked at the marbled entrance and he thought, someday I am going to own this hotel. And in fact, he had a photographer take a picture of him leaning up against one of the front pillars in front of the hotel. He had that picture blown up to an 8x10, and he took it back with him. This is while he was still broke. And that picture sat on his desk for the next 7 years until he figured out at some point how, with a group of other investors at that time, he was able to go back and buy the Waldorf Astoria. And the rest is history, as you can imagine. But in that particular case, he locked on to something so powerful. But what he did was he visually reminded himself of it every single day. Every time he looked at that picture, he thought, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And that's what I'd like you to think about, too. What are you locked on to?